The day she tried to sit down and her jeans made a sound like they were about to file a complaint against her, I knew something had to change. I am not exaggerating. The button was fighting for its life. I was right there on her bed, pretending not to look, but I saw everything. That was the moment I realized my friend Amara was no longer just putting on a little weight. The weight had put on her, and it was very comfortable staying there. I have known Amara since we were teenagers. She has always loved food in a way that is almost romantic. She does not just eat, she commits. If there is rice, she respects it properly. If there is something fried, she gives it the attention it deserves. She never believed in small portions. To her, food was joy, comfort, celebration, and sometimes boredom relief. If she was happy, she ate. If she was tired, she ate. If she was watching a movie, she ate. If she was not doing anything at all, she still found a reason to eat, and she was always smiling while doing it. The weight did not come suddenly. It came quietly, like a guest who says they will stay for one night and then never leaves. At first, her clothes became slightly tighter. She laughed about it. She said maybe the washing machine had changed the size. Then she stopped wearing certain dresses. Then she started choosing loose tops. Then she avoided mirrors that showed her full body. But even then, she did not slow down with food. If anything, she seemed to eat more comfortably because stretchy clothes do not complain the way jeans do. I noticed how she would sit and finish a large plate and then look around like she was considering a second round. Sometimes she would say, "I am not even that full." And I would look at the empty plate and wonder where the food had gone because it disappeared fast, very fast. She never counted anything. She never measured anything. She just ate what felt right in the moment. Unfortunately, the moment always felt hungry. There was one afternoon that still makes me laugh. We ordered takeout. When the food arrived, she opened the container and stared at it like it was a long-lost friend. I said, "You just ate 2 hours ago." She said, "That was a snack." I almost choked laughing because the so-called snack could have fed a small family, but that was how she thought. Meals were flexible in her world. Everything could be upgraded to a snack if she wanted it to be. Slowly, her face became rounder. Her arms became softer. Her steps became heavier. I noticed she would breathe harder after climbing stairs. She started choosing seats closer to doors. She complained about feeling hot all the time, but she still loved food deeply. That part never changed. She would say, "Life is short. Let me enjoy." And I would nod, but I could see she was not fully enjoying anymore. There was a quiet discomfort behind her laughter. The real turning point was not dramatic. There was no crying, no shouting, no sudden decision. It happened in a fitting room. We went shopping because she said she needed new clothes. I knew what that meant. She picked her usual size and went inside. A few minutes later, she came out quiet. That silence was loud. She went back in and tried a bigger size. When she finally stepped out again, she did not look angry. She looked tired. She said, "I don't feel like myself." That sentence stayed in my head for days. What surprised me most was that she did not decide to stop eating. She did not announce any extreme plan. She did not remove everything from her kitchen. She did not say she would punish herself. Instead, she did something very simple. She said, "I think I will start eating more fruits and vegetables." That was it. No drama. Just that sentence. The next day, I went with her to the market. Usually, she would walk past the fruit section like it was decoration. That day, she stopped. She touched apples like she was meeting them for the first time. She lifted a watermelon and almost dropped it because it was heavier than she expected. She squeezed avocados like she was testing their personality. She picked carrots, cucumbers, spinach, tomatoes, oranges, bananas, mangoes, and pineapple. Her basket looked colorful. I joked and asked if she was opening a small farm. She rolled her eyes at me, but she kept adding more vegetables. That evening, instead of ordering something heavy, she washed and cut everything. Her kitchen counter looked like a rainbow exploded. She arranged slices neatly on a plate. I watched her eat slowly. She did not rush. She chewed. She actually tasted the food. After finishing, she leaned back and said, "I don't feel stuffed." She sounded confused but pleased at the same time. The first week was not easy for her. I could see the adjustment. She would open the fridge and stare at the vegetables like they were asking her questions. One evening she said, "I miss fried food." I laughed and told her to talk to her cucumber about it. She did not find that funny, but she still ate the cucumber. Something interesting started happening after about 2 weeks. She stopped complaining about feeling heavy after meals. She stopped loosening her waistband. She stopped lying down immediately after eating. Her stomach looked less bloated. She said her body felt lighter, not thinner yet, just lighter. And that difference made her smile more often. There was a funny moment when she tried to make a large bowl of salad and ended up cutting enough vegetables for 5 people. When I asked who else was coming, she said, "I underestimated the cucumber." We laughed so hard because the bowl was huge, but she finished it over the day without feeling guilty or uncomfortable. That was new. After 1 month, she stepped on the scale. I stood behind her because I knew she was nervous. She looked down. She blinked twice. Then she stepped off and stepped back on like she did not trust it. When she finally accepted the number, she turned to me with wide eyes and said, "It moved." Not a big drop, not dramatic, but it moved in the direction she wanted. And that small movement gave her more motivation than any speech ever could. From that point, fruits and vegetables became the main focus of her meals. Not in a strict way, not in a forced way. She just filled her plate differently. Instead of heavy portions of processed food, she piled on colorful produce, mango slices in the morning, spinach and tomatoes in the afternoon, carrots and cucumbers in between, watermelon at night. Her fridge looked like a garden. The funny part was how serious she became about choosing good fruit. She would knock on watermelons like she was checking if they were home. She would inspect bananas carefully and reject any that looked too comfortable turning brown. Once, she argued with a pineapple vendor about ripeness like she had a degree in pineapple science. I stood there watching her like, "Who is this woman?" Months passed, and the change became visible. Her face slimmed down slowly, her clothes fit better, she walked faster, she laughed louder. She started wearing jeans again without fear of button sounds. The scale kept moving little by little, not fast, not extreme, just steady. What impressed me most was that she did not look miserable. She was not counting days. She was not angry at food. She was simply eating differently. When she craved something sweet, she reached for fruit. When she wanted something crunchy, she grabbed carrots or nuts. She stopped feeling out of control around food because fruits and vegetables filled her up in a calm way. One evening, We were sitting together and she said something that stayed with me. She said, "I don't feel like I am fighting my body anymore." That sentence explained everything. It was not about punishment, it was about balance. By the 6th month, the weight had balanced out. She was not too thin, she was not uncomfortable. She looked healthy. Her energy was steady. She moved freely, and the best part was how confident she felt. She no longer avoided mirrors. She no longer hid in oversized clothes. She stood straight. She smiled fully. Sometimes we laugh about the old days. I remind her about the jeans incident, and she threatens to throw a carrot at me. But deep down, I am proud of her. I watched her change not by starving herself or doing anything extreme, but by filling her life with simple fruits and vegetables,